Yo, what's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another reaction video. We got forgotten NFL All-Pros of the 2010s, where they are now. Let's check this out.
If you look at the mainstream media, you'd think that the only players that mattered were Brady, Mahomes, and honestly, any other high-caliber quarterback that's been playing in the past 10 years. But there have been more than 25,000 players who have played in NFL history. And amidst it all, there have been stars who have
It seemed like it would have been more players.
All-Pro level for
more than 25,000.
Unfortunately, have been forgotten. And now, yes, all the players that are mentioned in today's video weren't completely forgotten, but they just definitely didn't get the respect they deserved when they were playing. So today,
Jamal Charles for sure, bro.
Best players of the 2010s and what made them
Jamal
stand
Charles,
out.
Cam Chancellor,
actually, and why aren't they as relevant today? Some of these guys,
bro, Matt Forte was definitely underrated.
Never seen again,
I feel like.
While one player was almost even paralyzed from an injury. So let's see what happened to all these former All-Pros. How good were they actually? And more importantly, where are they today?
Ooh.
He plays in a dark place.
Richard Sherman? Oh no, Cam Chancellor, okay.
We feed off of it all game.
One of the hardest hitting safeties of all time, bro.
He's an aggressive ball player and he plays by the rules.
Damn.
You know, I couldn't imagine him playing in the 70s. He probably, some people wouldn't be here today.
Cam Chancellor was different, bro.
A fifth-round draft pick in 2010 who quickly became an integral part of the Seattle Seahawks' legendary Legion of Boom defense. His nickname Bam Bam Cam tells you all you need to know about what he was most well known for. His style of play was a terrifying blend of intimidation and
nigga, bro, if I'm running full speed, bro, and I see this nigga Cam Chancellor, nigga, I'm sliding, bro. I'm not taking a big ass hit from this nigga.
His immense size and speed.
But imagine him going against Derrick Henry, bro. Oh my god. That would be one hell of a matchup.
Our guard, Micah Potty, I'll never forget, he pulled and he was coming to spill Cam, and Cam leaned on him, broke his face mask, put him in a stretcher. I'm just like, man.
Damn.
And the next day in the training room, they had his face mask because they took his face mask off, you know, to secure his neck. Cam literally bent his face mask, so I took a picture. I sent the picture to Cam. I was like, Cam, you a dirty dude, bro. Like, you did this to a 300-pound man.
For Seattle,
that's actually crazy, bro. That's terrifying.
To play inside of the box from the safety position and to be able just to deliver bone-crushing hits inside the box while also being able to go and play coverage as a safety was crucial in helping them produce one of the best defenses the NFL has ever seen. Chancellor was at the peak of his powers throughout the Seahawks' dominant stretch between 2012 and 2016. During this stretch, they went to the playoffs 5 years in a row. The highlight of that stretch came in 2013 when the Legion of Boom propelled Seattle to the Super Bowl and dismantled Peyton Manning.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
Best offense. I mean, during this game, it looked as if that team had no clue how to even play on the offensive side of the ball, even though considering they were the league's best offense. I mean, the Hall of Fame quarterback could do nothing as Seattle cruised to a 43-8 victory in that Super Bowl. During that Super Bowl season, Chancellor recorded 99 tackles, 3 interceptions, and 1 forced fumble. He then picked up another interception in the NFC Championship game against San Francisco and another against Denver in the Super Bowl. He was a true game changer in the beating heart of the NFL's best defense for half a decade. He was rewarded for his efforts with 2 second-team All-Pro selections in addition to 4 Pro Bowls. And I mean, it was just his physicality that truly made him stand out as one of the best safeties. I
definitely agree that he can play. He could have played in the 90s too.
At the same time, it's also
he just got that type of play style, bro.
In 2017, he
kind of like Brian Dawkins
that would rule him out for the year. Unfortunately, the severity of the injury would ultimately force him to retire 1 year later, with Chancellor citing the risk of paralysis as a primary factor. His retirement
if he wouldn't have gotten injured, would he still be playing today, bro?
Into one of the most,
because that's a big thing with some elite players now. You know what I'm saying? Injuries can ruin your career and shit like that.
Say that all the injuries that he has sustained. Doctors told me that he couldn't go on anymore. Stiffness in his neck. The images that I saw had me at the lowest points. and that he's choosing to walk away. Didn't ever use the word retirement. He did close with "Pray for your boy." I have no clue how these head injuries will go after the game. Peace and love.
His leadership and playmaking ability were so important in the Seahawks' journey to the top of the sport, and his play style perfectly epitomized the sport. Aggression, athleticism, and a whole lot of skill all wrapped up into one freak of nature safety. Now, everybody loves a good underdog story.
Arian Foster, I remember this guy.
Here with Arian Foster. He became a Houston Texan after going undrafted in 2009 somehow. Opportunities were limited for Foster as a rookie, but he did at least manage to average 4.8 yards per carry from his 54 carries. He went on to impress the Texans enough to give him a proper shot at the starting job as a sophomore in 2010. And I mean, did he repay their faith in style?
Get the ball to Foster.
Yeah. Give the ball to Foster. Is that Bill O'Brien, their head coach?
Just 1.5 years after going undrafted, Foster led the league in rushing yards with 1,616 and in rushing touchdowns with 16. I mean, growing up and watching him, he was such a smooth and patient runner who always found the right hole. No diddy. And at 6 foot
no diddy.
220 pounds, he was not that easy to tackle either. And I mean, when you combine in the fact that at any point this guy could rip off a 70-yard run and wasn't going to be caught, it truly resulted in one of the most terrifying offensive playmakers in the league at the time.
Big
On top
facts.
of this, he also showed off immense versatility by being effective as a pass
It's
catcher.
it's crazy to think that you can find hidden gems like this, like undrafted free agents, like my Baltimore Ravens with Keaton Mitchell last year before he got injured. He was a hidden gem
To go
for
along
us,
with
bro.
his 1,616 rushing yards in 2010, Foster collected 604 yards and 2 more touchdowns through the air. That took his total to over 2,200 yards from scrimmage,
Damn.
which made him a very easy selection as
CMC
a
before
first-team
CMC.
All-Pro in just his second year in the league. Oh, and he didn't stop there.
Technically,
either. A second
Daniel
team
Tomlinson
All-Pro
was
selection
before
came
CMC,
1
but
year later, thanks to a
you get what I'm saying.
1,224-yard, 10-touchdown season on the ground in 2011, tacking on another 617 yards and 2 touchdowns as a receiver. He then went on to lead the league in rushing touchdowns yet again in 2012 with 15. Throughout his time with the Texans, Foster proved to be an invaluable piece to this offense. Not only was he just a truly dominant back in the running game, he was also a matchup nightmare in the receiving game. He rushed for over 1,200 yards in 4 of 5 seasons between 2010 and 2014 before injuries began to add up and slow the great running back down. A back injury in 2013 meant he was unable to complete the season before an Achilles tear in 2015 all but ended his career. He briefly made an attempt at a revival in Miami in 2016, but a lack of production and opportunities led to his retirement halfway through the year. He finished with 6,527 yards and 54 touchdowns as a rusher, in addition to 2,346 yards and 14 more scores as a receiver. From undrafted status to all-pro, Arian Foster was an absolute beast in the early 2010s.
Nah, for real, bro.
Just when you thought that things couldn't get any crazier, we are running
W promo, bro.
Fixtures snagged, already been shipped, and one inside you check out memorabilia tree away if you for you
15 NFL draft.
David
The
Johnson.
Arizona Cardinals select David Johnson,
He was really
running
good
back,
his rookie
Northern
year.
Iowa.
The versatile running back did show glimpses of how good he could be in his rookie season, but nobody was prepared for what he was going to do in 2016. It was a breakout year for the
2016,
ages, with Johnson
David Johnson
showcasing
was
a lethal
elite, bro.
combination of power as a bruising runner between
Didn't
the
he
tackle
retire
and
this year,
agility
too?
as a receiver out of the backfield. In just his second year in the league, Johnson rushed for 1,239 yards and 16 touchdowns, while also catching 80 passes for another 879 yards
Damn.
and 4 more touchdowns. His 2,118 yards from scrimmage led the NFL, earning him a selection as a first-team All-Pro player. And I mean, the Cardinals took full advantage of his diverse skill set, utilizing various schemes that celebrated both him as a runner and as a receiver. He was the focal point of the offense and was a nightmare for defenses who had no answer on how to stop him. And I even remember growing up as a young 18-year-old just playing in my fantasy leagues too. He was very popular in the fantasy community just because of how many people wanted him as their running back in the next year. And I mean, expectations for him were so high coming into the 2017 season, just considering that he was just truly not only an exceptional runner, but just such a good pass catcher out of the backfield too, that he was truly a dominant fantasy running back. Unfortunately though, any hopes of another magical season went up in flames in week 1, when a dislocated wrist took him out of the game and ultimately ended his season. It was a devastating blow that halted the career of one of the NFL's most exciting young stars. And I mean, once David Johnson did come back from that wrist injury, he really didn't have any glimmers of that 2016 season that everybody was hoping for. I mean, and it didn't help too that questionable quarterback play and changes in the offensive scheme made life much harder for him too, and not helped by the fact that he picked up more injuries in 2019. He was eventually traded to the Texans prior to the 2020 season. And one of the worst trades to ever happen for the Texans, I guess you could say.
That injury looked nasty.
DeAndre Hopkins instead. But even as a Texan, he briefly showed signs of the revival in the form of a career best 4.7 yards per carry, only for a concussion to force him out onto the injured reserve and once again dent his momentum. And after that concussion, honestly, it was just truly downhill from there, never being able to really just stay off of the IR and just really come back and ever show signs of that 2016 season that everybody was hoping to see again. And I mean, the shelf life of running back is already extremely short, but then when you factor in all the injuries that David Johnson has, it really did leave us with one of the biggest what if situations. If he never got injured, could he have maintained all that dominance that he was showing? This next guy though, I remember just, you would watch his highlight reels and he was up there with Tavon Austin of just, you only could imagine to be as fast as this guy was. Percy Harvin entered the
Percy
NFL
Harvin.
as an electrifying talent, selected 22nd overall
legend,
by
bro,
in 2009. He was most notably known for his blazing speed and versatility, and it didn't take him long to make his talent known. I mean, as a rookie, Harvin was utilized as a wide receiver, kick returner, and even a running back, making him one of the most exciting but unpredictable players in the NFL. And he first announced himself on
he was basically Deebo Samuel before Deebo Samuel was.
San Francisco 49ers, where he returned a
but way better though
kick return for a touchdown. And in doing so, he became the second youngest player to ever do this.
Percy Harvin brings it back from the goal line. He's got some room. Watch out.
Damn. Nigga was unstoppable, bro. Holy shit.
This went on to set up a thrilling rookie season that featured 790 receiving yards, 135 rushing yards, and 2 kick returns for touchdowns. The Vikings made sure to use him in many creative ways to exploit mismatches against the defense, which it was just insane watching him his rookie season. He was just such a tricky problem for defenses to solve, and not
how the hell do y'all not make this tackle?
Such a tricky problem for
nigga, 3 defenders, bro, they all ran to each other.
Which helped him earn the Offensive Rookie of the Year award in a first-team All-Pro selection. His best statistical season, though, came in 2011 when he brought in 87 receptions for 967 yards and 6 touchdowns, while also receiving 52 carries, which he converted into 345 yards and 2 scores. Like, I mean, this dude was so effective that he was averaging 6.6 yards per carry as a wide receiver. He literally was a smaller, faster, and just more dominant runner than like Deebo Samuel is today. Harvin was traded to the Seahawks in 2013, but only managed to play 1 game in the regular season because of an injured labrum. This didn't stop him from making an impact for his new team though, as one of the most iconic plays materialized that postseason.
Good kick by Prater on a hop. It's Harvin, but now he takes off, and Percy Harvin gets free.
Damn.
Percy Harvin inside the 30. He's gonna go. Touchdown, Seattle.
And I mean, Percy Harvin was just such an electrifying player that he could take the top off or just have a home run play at any second. But in the second half of his career, it would mostly be about injuries and even just some off-field controversies that happened also. After playing 45 games across his first 3 seasons, Harvin only played 25 in his next 6 seasons between 2012 and 2016. And I mean, there were well-documented rifts between him and his teammates in Seattle, and even reports that he would refuse to play at times. He did try to revive his career with brief stints in New York and Buffalo, but he ultimately called it a career in 2017. Navarro Bowman became a 49er.
Oh, I forgot about him for the 49ers.
2010 NFL draft, but it didn't.
Him and Patrick Willis were great
talent. His package
linebacker
of
tandem, bro.
Work ethic, and football IQ helped him quickly solidify a starting spot alongside Hall of Fame linebacker Patrick Willis, forming one of the most formidable linebacker duos that the NFL has ever seen. It took just 2 years for Bowman
they were one of my favorites growing up,
registering 143 tackles and 2 sacks in
two
his
of my
first
favorites,
full season
him
as a
and
starter.
Patrick
Similar
Willis.
numbers followed in the 2012 season before he elevated his game to notch 145 tackles, 5 sacks, and 4 forced fumbles in 2013. His sideline-to-sideline dominance made him one of the most prolific tacklers in the NFL, helping propel the Niners to 2 NFC Championship games and 1 Super Bowl appearance during that period. His most iconic moment as a 49er, though, came when he had a 89-yard interception for a touchdown against the Atlanta Falcons that I remember watching, and it was just absolute mayhem.
The snap goes to slant to the left side. It's Russell, intercepted! The 49ers pick it, and Navarro Bowman is redemption! Navarro Bowman for the touchdown!
The play fondly remembered as the pick at the stick was crucial in
pick
setting
at
up
the
the 49ers
stick
on a playoff run that went all the way to the NFC Championship game. Unfortunately, though, disaster struck in that game. Not only did the 49ers lose to their bitter rivals,
I remember this. I remember
Bowman
this.
suffered a brutal ACL and MCL tear.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh my gosh.
Season. And I mean, it was truly a horrendous injury that he had to fight back from. And when he was returning in 2015, nobody really knew what to expect when Bowman finally took the field. What did happen, though, was absolutely spectacular. Bowman picked up exactly where he left off, improving to post a career-best 154 tackles to go alongside with 2.5 sacks and 1 forced fumble. He led the league in solo and combined tackles that year, earning his 4th first-team All-Pro selection. Despite tearing his knee to absolute shreds, Bowman had maintained the speed and physicality he needed to continue owning the middle of the field. It was an incredible effort and just such a great way to come back after such a gruesome injury the season prior. But that also makes it even more heartbreaking when he suffered another career-ending injury in 2016. This time a torn Achilles that would limit him to just 4 games. He did go on to play 1 more year after that, which saw him line up for both the 49ers and the Raiders in 2018, but that would be his last. Just like Cam Chancellor at the beginning of the video, the physicality that comes with this style of play takes its toll, resulting in yet another career finishing after just 8 seasons. Next up, we have somebody that did most of their career work in the early 2000s, but I just thought he had such an outrageous career that everybody honestly always forgets about, that we had to go over him in this video. Undrafted out of the University of Texas in 1997, Priest Holmes began his NFL career with the Baltimore Ravens. And after not receiving a single carry as a rookie, Holmes then made a name for himself by posting 1,008 yards and 7 touchdowns as a sophomore in 1998. Unfortunately, though, an injury in 1999 put an early end to a promising season in which he averaged 5.7 yards per carry to collect 506 yards in just 9 games played. It wasn't until his move to the Kansas City Chiefs, though, in 2001 that he properly started to assert his absolute dominance at the running back position. On the Chiefs, Holmes led the league with 1,555 yards and 8 touchdowns, earning him his first All-Pro selection. And little did people know that this was just the start of something special with this dude. Holmes improved to 1,615 yards and 21 touchdowns in 2002, before posting 1,420 yards and a ridiculous 27 touchdowns in 2003. He led the league in touchdowns in both seasons, while also leading the NFL in scoring in 2002 and collecting 2 more first-team All-Pro selections. And yet again, not only was he just such a dominant force in the run game, but he was so versatile as a wide receiver out of the backfield too. He had over 600 yards as a receiver in each of those seasons between 2001 and 2003, making him one of the most dangerous players to ever step on the field. He was a lethal combination of vision, power, and speed, showcasing impressive elusiveness for someone of his size. Like many players, though, that play running back, injuries eventually do catch up to them, and because of this, it only led him to play 19 games between 2004 and 2007. These ultimately led to his retirement in 2007, bringing an end to an absolute stunning career that rewarded fans with some of the most jaw-dropping jaw-dropping production in the history of the NFL. From undrafted to an NFL superstar, Holmes was a remarkable All-Pro and definitely worthy of the inclusion on this list. Now, our final star on this list has one of the most unforgettable and just most inspiring stories you will ever hear from an NFL star. Tamba Ali was born in Liberia.
I've never heard of him.
To America at the age of 10 to escape the Civil War. He embarked upon a career in the NFL in the hope that he could earn enough money to reunite with his mother. And his dream became a reality when he was drafted in the first round of the 2006 NFL draft by the Kansas City Chiefs. During his time with the Chiefs, he was one of the most productive Chiefs players, missing just one regular season game between the years of 2006 and 2011. And along this way, picking up a good amount of sacks, I would say too. He particularly came to prominence after a 14.5 sack season in 2010, which was the most by any defensive player in the AFC. Like, I mean, this dude was an absolute nightmare for offensive tackles, and the quality performances only continued into 2011. For the second straight year, Ali picked up double-digit sacks with 12, also notching.
Why am I just now hearing about this guy?
Tackles and 4 forced fumbles. For his efforts, he was rewarded with second-team All-Pro honors. His consistent production came because of a rapid first step, powerful hands, and an impressive ability to bend around the edge, meaning that he was constantly impacting the game. Like, even when he couldn't get to the quarterback to secure a tackle, he was constantly applying pressure, hurrying throws, and forcing mistakes. He was absolutely relentless in his pursuit of the quarterback, forming an imposing linebacker duo with Justin Houston. Another second-team All-Pro selection came in 2013.
He reminds me of Trey Hendrickson.
Collection of awards that also saw him pick up 6 Super Bowls between 2010 and 2015.
6 Super Bowls.
His retirement crazy. Following the 2017
the
season,
fuck is this hairstyle, nigga?
12-year career in which he posted 89.5 sacks, 591 tackles, and 32 forced fumbles. It is an incredible story of resilience that saw him overcome adversity in wartime Liberia to become one of the premier pass rushers of his era. From insane offensive production to sheer brute force on defense, these players earned themselves the prestigious honors of being selected for NFL's All-Pro teams. And I mean, it always is sad to see some of these players not get the opportunity to complete their careers and confirm their legendary status, but that is the reality of the tough nature of the life in the NFL. But I want to know what you guys think. Who do you guys think I left off the list? Or hell,
bro, I can name a couple, bro. You left CJ2K off this list, left Jamal Charles, Matt Forte. Who else, bro? Y'all let me know who else I'm missing down in the comments below. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Turn on post notification, notify whenever I drop another banger video. We're on the road to 200 subs. Let me get it for more banger NFL content like this. So without further ado, I'm out. Gang.